Let me set the stage for you. You are a parent. You have children. They are not perfect, and sometimes they do things that are extremely frustrating and even triggering. If you are watching this video and nodding and agreeing with me, then I'm sure you have a lot of specific examples that just rushed into your mind. And if you're shaking your head and not knowing what I'm talking about, I want to personally meet you and your children and learn how you do it. But I'm going to guess that most of you are with me on this one. So here's the thing. How I respond as a parent usually has more to do with how I'm feeling than what my child is doing. One of the many, many challenges of parenting is parenting through a personal trigger. Now, if you can relate to what I'm saying at all, here's a couple steps for you. Recognize that what you are feeling is about you and not them. Take responsibility for your emotions instead of projecting them onto your kids, onto your partner, or other people. So, story time. I want to share a story with you. There was this time, my kids were little, had a bunch of little kids. You know, they're medium-sized kids now, but at the time they were all little kids. And I was standing in my hallway yelling at my kids in between their bedrooms because of the messes that they were making. And they are a mess. They make messes, they don't clean them up, and that is all true. But the thing is, I wasn't struggling because of them. I was struggling because I felt like my life was a mess. I felt like I couldn't control what was going on around me. And to be truthful, at that time in my life, I controlled my environment in a desire to feel a level of safety. And I felt out of control, unsafe, and like I was drowning in my own life. I felt like a mess. I thought it had to do with my kids' never-ending supply of toys and clothes on the ground that was creating this anxiety, overwhelm, and depression inside of me. In reality, it wasn't. We talk about seeing the world through rose-colored glasses when we're in love, but what we don't talk about is seeing the world through trauma-colored glasses, or overwhelm, or abandonment-colored glasses. The reality is we experience the world through the lens of the emotional state that we are in. Repressing, blame shifting, or ignoring that emotional state does not change that reality. So, with that nice little dose of reality, what do we do as parents when we are having a hard time or one of our unhealed wounds is brushed up against? And we still need to be a parent. So the solution is, one, to recognize that you're being triggered. And this trigger could be all the havoc that's going on in your life. It could be all the things that you're scared of or afraid of or worried about, just trying to be a parent and do all the things that parents do. Or it could be an unhealed wound you have from your childhood. And your child, totally unbeknownst to them, could be triggering it. And you're in this place of needing to parent yourself and parent your child at the same moment. So the first step is to recognize what you are experiencing. The second step is to stop and calm down and give yourself the space to do so. This could look like a 20-minute break. This could look like quiet time for your kids in a safe place while you go have a quiet time in a separate safe place. I once had a 6-year-old jump off the roof and break some things, not himself, on the way down because he jumped through the roof of a motorhome. And I handled it very calmly and I took care of him. I made sure he was okay. And then I asked him to go to his room. And he flipped out and he started yelling and screaming and jumping and saying, "What? Why do I have to go to my room?" Completely unaware of the havoc that he had just caused. And I raised my voice at him and I said, "For your own safety, go to your room." And he just looked at me wide-eyed like a deer in the headlights. And I meant it. I meant all of it, right? For our own safety, we all need a quiet time sometimes. And there is nothing wrong with that. And while you're having that quiet time, do what helps you self-soothe. So if that looks like reading a book or doing a meditation or punching a punching bag or journaling or calling your spouse and venting, do what you need to do to self-soothe. And then after you've done all of those steps, but not before, you need to come back and have a conversation when everything is calm and when you can be calm. And if you come back and you try to have that conversation and you go from 0 to 60 within 30 seconds, take 2, go back and start over. So Here's the thing. One of the biggest challenges of being a parent is parenting through a trigger, and especially those childhood wounds that we all carry around. And a child, unbeknownst to them, triggers that old wound. So my question for you to ask yourself is, what is my purpose as a parent? Seriously, what is the purpose of you being a parent? What is your goal? Distill it down to a simple thought or a word. And when you are in those moments of conflict and you take the time to stop and calm down, reevaluate how you're showing up and see if you're meeting your goal as a parent. For me, my purpose in parenting is that my children know that they are loved, that no matter what happens in their life, that they know that I will always love them. So I ask myself, what does parenting from a place of love look like right now? How can I help my child feel loved right now? And if I can't do that in the moment or don't know how, I just let things sit and be until I do. My goal is to parent from a place of love. So going back to the story I told you earlier, that was like in the midst of me learning how to parent from a place of love while dealing with my own challenges and doing all the things. And so what that looked like, I'm a clean person. I have a need for things to be clean. Me and chaos don't get along well. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? As long as I'm balancing it with the needs of the other people in my life, right? And so in searching for that balance, I didn't know what balance looked like for me and my kids and my spouse. I didn't know how to show up from a place of love with all those dynamics. So you know what I did? Is I went through and we dejunked and we decluttered, so there was a lot less stuff. And I probably spent 6 months not talking to my kids about cleaning their rooms, right? And if you know me, like, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. But I didn't know how. I didn't know how to parent from a place of love, and I didn't know how to expect them to keep their rooms clean. And I know that sounds like a little thing, and it is a little thing, but it's a little thing that's a big thing to me, right? Because it's important to feel comfortable and safe in my own home. And that sounds kind of ridiculous, but for me, that's what it was, right? So I took a break, even a long break from that expectation. And I realized that that break wasn't for forever. I realized it was just from a time. And that was years ago. And now I can gratefully say that I know how to love my children and expect them to pick up their stuff at the same time. But whatever that looks like for you, take a break. Find the balance. And this may take time, years even. I mean, it took me at least half a year before I was even ready to go back to it. You and your kids will probably do some growing together. The time is going to pass either way. The purpose is not the destination. The purpose is the journey and finding joy in that journey and growth. And will you do me a favor? If this video has been helpful for you, will you share it with a loved one that could also use this support? And remember to keep shining. We need your light. I've got this next video for you. What boundaries should you have in a relationship? Check it out. You know you want to.